Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and in this video, we are going to make a chocolate Twinkie slash ding dong hybrid. I'm not really sure what to call this thing. Once you make it, if you've got a great idea for a name, put it down in the comments below, and who knows, maybe I'll change the title of the video. Now this recipe uses the corn dog maker, which is an appliance I've kind of been neglecting over the last month, so hopefully you corn dog maker owners are going to enjoy this one. If you don't have one of these corn dog makers, I will include a link down below in the description, but also at the end of this video, I will describe, though I probably won't show, I will describe how you can do this in an air fryer. This particular recipe took me a few iterations before I was satisfied with it. First, it took me a while to get the cake batter to be the texture and taste that I wanted, that really sort of mimicked that Hostess type of a flavor. The other problem, though, was the frosting inside. It was absorbing into the cake batter as it would cook. And then when I would take these Twinkies out of the corn dog maker and set them on a cooling rack, gradually they would deflate and become flat and just not that attractive. And then you didn't get the whole frosting sensation inside. So we're going to go to a little bit of extra effort to make sure that frosting remains nice and firm for us. Now, one thing you may wonder about as I'm making this recipe is, why is the yield only 4 Twinkies? I found that I'm just not fast enough when I'm making this myself to pipe out 6 cavities worth of batter and then get the frosting sticks in and then top them before that first row really starts to cook. If you make these and enjoy them, which I think you will, and you have someone that can be your co-pilot on this, my recommendation is to triple the recipe, and then you will get 2 full trays of these chocolate Twinkies. So with that out of the way, let's get to making these things. For starters, we have 2 ounces of softened room temperature cream cheese. To that, we will be adding 2 tablespoons of Swerve Confectioners, and 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Whisk together, perhaps using a larger bowl than I chose. So I would definitely say that this mixing operation would go far better in, say, a 1 or 2 cup Pyrex measuring cup. But I think we're good to go. So now we will transfer this into our water bottle ice cube tray. So start at one end. So since we need 4 of these, really load up the first 3 and then sort of gradually spread it towards the 4th. Do your best to sort of smooth it out to a uniform level. It doesn't have to be perfect, because when we put on the top, it'll help mold everything for us. Scrape off my spatula here onto the first couple cavities. Now this will go into the freezer until we've got some nice frosting cylinders made. It's going to take at least a couple hours. Might not hurt to let it sit overnight. For this recipe, we will be using the food processor method, and because I didn't have the record button going 30 seconds ago, you're just going to have to use your imagination as I do this. 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, whip, 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 whip. Another 2 tablespoons of Swerve granular. 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. And now we're back to the real deal again, 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum. As always, whenever I have xanthan gum, I always make sure to mix all of my dry ingredients first so I don't get any clumping. Three or 4 pulses should be fine. Next, we're going to use 2 tablespoons of coconut cream, and the way that I get that is by opening the can upside down and draining out the coconut water so that just the cream remains. 2 tablespoons of almond butter. If your almond butter is unsalted, you may want to add just a 2-finger pinch of salt to give this a little bit of extra flavor. Lastly, 1 large egg. And we'll process this into a smooth batter. Stop halfway through, scrape down the edges, and just a couple more seconds. Good enough. Then we're going to use my piping bag method to fill up the corn dogger. So start with the coffee cup, sandwich bag, and transfer your batter to the bag. We'll get most of the air out of the bag, seal it, and snip a hole off the corner to pipe that stuff out. For this segment, I'm going to try a little something, see if I can get a better view of the piping bag method using the GoPro camera. I'm also, for fun, going to do 2 of the cream cheese frosting filling and then 2 with my macadamia coconut cashew sauce, which I've frozen. I will include the link to that right about there if you'd like to try that out. The light is green. We are good to go. I'm going to pipe these about halfway full. Being careful not to touch the bag to any of the hot surfaces. For our first 2, we'll do the cream cheese. Nestle that down until you see the batter come up the sides. And for the next 2, we will do our macadamia sauce. Then pipe another bead of batter on top. And we close it up. Now this is one of the rare recipes where I actually do trust the light and I don't wait until the steam is done running out. Because we don't want, especially on these macadamia ones, the sauce to wind up cooking and leaking out. So let's unplug and pop these guys out. Now the best method in this is to sort of roll towards yourself with your hand and then get under there with a spatula. That way you don't mangle them. Roll, spatula. The macadamia sauce, you'll see, doesn't hold up nearly as well as the cream cheese sauce. Kind of flattens out a bit, but oh, is it good. We'll let these cool for probably 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll give them a taste. So our Twinkie dongs, or whatever we're going to call them, have been sitting for about 10 minutes. Let's see what they look like on the inside, and then give them a taste. Now you can see on the macadamia sauce one, we got a little bit of leakage there. Whoa! And a lot right down there on my hand. I thought I was just going to split this open and let you see what was inside, but what's inside is now on me. Okay, that's really good, but wow, did I just make a mess. Maybe don't use the macadamia sauce, or if you do, refrigerate them before you try and eat them. Now let's try the cream cheese frosting one. Ooh, look at that. That is looking pretty perfect. Okay. This is quite tasty. And I think it would be even better if these sat in the fridge for a while and that frosting kind of firmed up a bit more. Now you would think that based on the quantity of Swerve that's in this, that these would be a lot sweeter than they are. They're not overpoweringly sweet. So if that was a concern that you had while I was putting all that Swerve in the recipe, don't worry about it. Now you can get the full printable recipe along with all the macros on my website, which I will link to down below. But just so you know, each one of these Twinkies has 2 net grams of carbs in them. So pretty good trade-off for the taste. Now if you want to make this in an air fryer, the recipe is exactly the same. What you'll do though is get some of these little silicone mini muffin cups and you'll fill it probably halfway full with batter. Then take the cream cheese frosting sticks and cut them probably into about thirds. And tuck that down into the batter, top with more batter, and then cook in your air fryer at 360 degrees for 6 minutes. I think that will work. If you try it out and you feel that there's a better time and temperature, let me know. Post it down in the description below. If you enjoyed this recipe, hit that like button, click that subscribe button, and while you're at it, tap that bell next to it so you're notified whenever I release a new video. Thanks for watching.